Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Slice. I'm your producer Roxy, and joining me in the kitchen today is Chef Thiago Sliva. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And he's been in our kitchen before.
I think I have, yeah.
Are the creator of the cinnamon roll donut. Let's take a look at that delicious dessert. Here it is. And how did you come up with this idea?
I wanted to do something a little different, a little more fun with the donut. And, you know, why not take two things that we love in America, and donuts and cinnamon rolls, and stuff them inside one pastry and get it nice and glazed and serve it up.
And I remember they were delicious. You are a well-known pastry chef, and you also do all sorts of other food as well. What are you going to be making today?
Today I'm going to do a little pork loin with a little coconut soy marinade and a little kabocha squash, Brussels sprouts, a little fresh apple, some grilled onions. Should be good.
And again, this is Slice. It is a $12 20-minute challenge. So the chefs have $12 to spend at the grocery store, and they have 20 minutes or less to make their dish. So, Thiago, can you run down the ingredients that you bought and how much they cost?
So I had $12, and I made it even more complicated for myself. I went into Whole Foods, so that was a little more challenging. So we have a pork loin, which I could only get one, and we're going to cut that later for serving for two people. So that's enough for two people, and that was $4.50. We have our squash, which was just about $1.99. We have our Brussels sprouts, that was about $2.75. Our onion, just about 50 cents. The ginger, about 99 cents. Your apple, about 50 cents. And I think that's it. But then I had 30 cents, so I got some almonds. I figured some nice almonds. Since I was under the budget, might as well throw it in there.
And we do have a few pantry items: salt, pepper, coconut vinegar, coconut nectar, sesame oil, soy sauce, and extra virgin olive oil.
Keep your pantry stocked, then $12 is more than you need.
So we're going to set our timer. Again, you have 20 minutes for this challenge. Let's put the timer.
Uh-oh.
There you have it. Are you ready?
Nope.
Remind us again what this dish is called.
So this is a soy coconut marinated pork loin with charred Brussels sprouts and kabocha squash.
Well, I think our viewers are ready. Let us know, are you guys ready for this dish? And let's get started.
All right.
Let's get the countdown
It's on?
going.
Oh man, it's on already? All right, so first thing, I need to get this in the oven. This is gonna take all the time. So we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil.
And that is kombucha squash.
That is kabocha squash. Really good. A lot more body than some of the other squashes. We're gonna add a little bit of salt.
Terry wants to know, what is kombucha squash?
Kabocha squash is the squash that I'm seasoning right now. It's usually utilized in Asian cooking. It's a little more starchy than your traditional like butternut squash or pumpkins. So it holds up, has a lot of body. It's a great replacement for like fries and things like that.
And you got it at Whole Foods, so you can get it at most grocery stores.
Did get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at most places. So just toss that. We're gonna add it to our pan here.
And the squash we got for just under $2.
That's right. Okay. Let's get it in the oven because this will require all the time to cook. My oven's set to about 400 degrees, by the way. And it should be, I'm hoping, 15 minutes. So I have a little bit of time for plating, but we'll see what happens. Let's wipe my hand here, and we're going to make our...
We do have a judge coming on to taste test this
A judge?
This dish.
That wasn't part of the deal.
No pressure. It will be taste tested at the end of the show.
We have our soy. We're going to make the little marinade for the pork.
I think your wife, Caroline, just said, hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
She's watching.
She's watching, and probably the reason...
She was skeptical, right, that you couldn't do this?
She was skeptical. She said he never spends $12 when he cooks. But it's a challenge, right?
It is.
So we have our coconut. We have our sesame oil. So usually I would add a little bit of spice, but because my wife doesn't like it, she doesn't like anything spicy, I'm cooking for two, which would be for us, so I'm not using any spices. However, it's delicious with this. Definitely add some sriracha or some red chili flakes, and it makes it really awesome.
And I think that's the beauty of cooking at home. You can make it as spicy or as not spicy as you like.
We have some ginger. We have some garlic.
Lillian says that pork dish looks nice.
It will be delicious.
Robert Scott wants to know, do Americans eat Indian food and curry dishes? I do. Do you?
Yeah. I actually lived somewhere where there was a lot of Indian cooking in Jackson Heights. A lot of ethnic places, really good. A lot of people travel there, a lot of chefs.
Mm-hmm. I love hitting up the Indian restaurant buffets.
Yeah. You just like a lot of food.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
All right, so we're going to put our pork loin here. We're going to get it nice and marinate it. And we're going to let it marinate for about 5 minutes so we can start grilling it. We got to give it time to rest as well. And we can always add more marinade to it. All right. How am I looking on time?
You have, let's see, you've only been on for about 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
so
all right. Let's get these pans
Very
hot.
good.
Very important part of cooking. Getting your pans hot. All right.
So how long do you let the pork loin marinate?
So if I had a little more time, I would love it for it to sit for about 30 minutes. But because I was challenged today, we're going to do it for about 5 to 8 minutes, hopefully, to give it enough time to cook and make sure that I have a little resting time. It's very important to rest your meat.
I had no idea meat had to rest.
Of course, everything has to rest. Everyone has a breaking point.
So Kate wants to know, can you use another meat or a veggie option for this dish?
Yes, chicken would be a great replacement, but you can definitely sub it out, and it will be just like marinating, chicken breast or chicken thigh would be a great replacement.
Adriana says, hello from Waldman's. Can't wait to see the results.
Hi, Adriana. See you soon. They're coming over soon for dinner, so that'll be great.
What are you making for dinner?
I have no idea. I know she likes sweet corn ice cream, so I have to make sweet corn ice cream.
That sounds good.
Yes.
You got to make that for us next time you're here.
I love it. It's my favorite ice cream as well.
And we want to know for the viewers out there, what is your go-to quick meal to make?
My go-to quick meal, you know what? I get a nice hot pan and sear a nice steak, and I'm good to go. There's not a lot of hassle there. A little salt and pepper, nice steak, and good. Call it a day.
Anne says, I'm getting hungry.
Me too. All right, I think we have a good amount of Brussels here. So I personally like to char the Brussels, get them really nice and colored. So we're going to get this pan really hot.
And what is it that gives it that charred look or that flavor?
So a hot pan is very important to cooking. I think that's, don't try that at home, guys. But getting your pan hot, it's really important to developing a nice caramelized flavor. And Brussels is one of those things that I grew up not liking. A lot of times they were mushy and overcooked, and then when I started working in the industry and, had it done the right way, it was phenomenal. I keep eating it all the time now. So we're going to have a hot pan, a little bit of canola oil or grapeseed oil. All right. And let that heat up a little bit longer.
Justin says his quick go-to meal is cheese and a tomato omelet, the first thing I learned to make as a child.
Omelet's good.
What was the first thing you learned to make?
The first thing I actually learned to make was a tiramisu.
Ooh.
That
I think
was,
mine was ramen noodles, but that doesn't count, right?
That's delicious. Of course that counts. Depends what kind of noodles. I love noodles. I don't know if it's the ramen kind. So we're going to get this. You see a nice...
You have Kate and Christy both watching from Scotland.
From Scotland, wow. That's awesome. Welcome.
Deborah's wondering if April the giraffe had her baby yet. No, she did not, but we are on April watch as well. We'll let you know. She does have a baby. I know giraffes like to eat lettuce and carrots. They probably like Brussels sprouts too.
Brussels sprouts is amazing. Everyone should give it a shot. I know there's a lot of,
I love them.
Some people don't like them. I didn't like them as a kid, but once I had them done the right way, and they're not like that, soft, mushy Brussels sprout, they're phenomenal. They're so good. The bigger the char on it, the more I like them, personally. I even you can even raw. I'm going to actually take some leaves. I saved some raw ones for us to kind of garnish our dish.
And you have 13 minutes.
13 minutes?
Yes.
What happened? Felt like I had more than that. You guys just taking out time? What's going on?
Time sneaks up on you when you're having fun.
All right, so we're gonna get the pork in here because it's important to get this guy cooked, all right? Want to get it served at a nice, I like pork to be a little medium. I know some people are a little skeptical of it, but I like it to be a little pink. There you go.
Karen wants to know, why didn't he cut all the ends off the Brussels sprouts?
You don't have to. You can eat Brussels sprouts even whole. I cleaned some of them are really big. The other ones are small enough you can cook right through it, and it's still going to be nice and tender once you cook through it. It's totally fine. As long as they're nice and clean beforehand, you can eat all parts of it. If it's a big stem, sometimes they have a bigger stem, take it out, but it also helps keep them whole, and I like to keep the Brussels sprouts really nice and uniform.
And that's also a specific pan that you're using for the pork loin as well,
Yes.
right?
So the pan is a grill pan because we have some sugars caramelizing from the coconut nectar. You really want it to elevate. You want it to grill. You don't want to go directly in a pan like this because your sugar is going to burn and it's going to go, you know, all over your meat. You don't want that. So we have our Brussels here. Again, don't be afraid to just let it char. That's kind of what I like to do with it, and it should be fine. Our squash is going.
And Karen says her go-to meal is salsa chicken.
What is it?
Salsa chicken. Maybe
Chicken's
chicken.
always a good go-to. Everyone loves chicken. All right, look at that. That looks great on this side. Great, everything smells great in here. And I have some soy for later. We can definitely add a little glaze to the pork. See how that Brussels is looking? Great. We're going to chop up this apple here.
Kelly doesn't want you to get hurt and says cooking is dangerous sometimes. Have you ever had any accidents in the kitchen?
You know, I've been very good. I've been very careful about that. So I haven't had a lot. However, I've seen some things. I'll tell you that much. It is dangerous, but you just have to, you know, be comfortable with what you're doing and know, you know, how to do things, and should be fine. But it's all about practice. I have a 4-year-old who's almost 4-year-old, and I get him around the stove all the time, get him cooking. I think it's important for him to get comfortable with it. It's
Soon
dangerous.
he'll be cooking for you.
He will. He loves making pasta. He makes pasta all the time. The cutest little guy. Not because he's my son. Well, kind of.
Then
So-
he says, this guy's a beast. He doesn't even sweat.
Well, I'm actually a pastry chef, so pastry's a little more difficult than savory. I'm not worried. I'm going to start sweating, though, when it's like 4 minutes.
You have 10 minutes, just
Oh,
FYI.
okay. Good. I'll be sweating pretty soon, though. Don't worry about that. All right, we have our apple. So I like a little apple to go with the Brussels. This is a sweeter Honeycrisp apple, so you have that nice dark bitter char on these. You have a nice sear on this loin. Look at that. That looks great, huh?
We have a viewer, Sojanda, from Albania, says great for dinner.
It is great for dinner. It's great for any time. On the healthier side of things, so you can eat a lot of it. I'm going to add this apple in here.
So does the apple add flavor to the sprouts?
Yes, so the apple I really love with Brussels. Again, it's a sweet apple. It's a Honeycrisp, which I really like. And it really just adds a little sweetness to that char. Really nice. A lot of times you do Brussels, you do a glaze. I'm actually going to utilize the same glaze from the pork. We're going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper then. All right. I got to get judged there later, so, you know.
And Kathy wants to know again, what are we having? What's the name of this dish?
So this is a soy marinated pork loin with a Brussels sprout and apples with a roasted kabocha squash.
David says there's a fine line between charred and burnt. Could you explain?
There is. I mean, you want that nice char flavor, which is essentially almost burnt. But you don't want to eat it and have that bitter burnt flavor. You want it to develop, you know. Definitely it brings up a lot of flavor in your Brussels sprouts. But again, there is a fine line. Charring is pretty much burning it, but a thin layer. It's like that pizza. Once you get that pizza with nice little char on it, some people say it's burnt. I say it's beauty. I love it. I love that flavor. But there is a very fine line. I agree with that. We're going to add a little bit of this guy here to the Brussels. Just to
Jez
sweeten
says,
it up.
I like the way you're cooking by keeping the natural flavor.
Yes, something I love too. Definitely want to highlight your ingredients.
And Mina says, I'm going to cook this right now with you.
Nice,
That's
awesome.
exciting.
Did you stay in budget though? That's my question.
Yes, let us know, Mina. How much did you spend on your ingredients?
Exactly. All right, so the pork is going. I'm actually going to take these onions here, and I'm going to toss it in with my Brussels. All right.
7 minutes.
Oh boy.
No sweat.
And this almond is also going to go with my Brussels there. A little bit of texture, but also hearty nuts. Looks great. Again, a lot of people over marinate their sprouts with a lot of dressing, or especially maple syrup or brown sugar and things like that, which is great. Tastes delicious. But I want to use again that coconut nectar that I have that is really, really special because it adds a lot of the sweetness.
And
but
it's
it also,
way healthier.
Yeah, there's a lot of nutrients to it, which is great.
So Betty asked, how much did the meal cost? And well, we're really glad you asked that. So everything is under $12.
Whew, under $12, and I have time to
Have a cup of coffee. This is the Slice Challenge. We give chefs $12 and 20 minutes to make a meal for two.
Does the 20 minutes include plating time or no?
Yes, sure.
Uh-oh.
So, no. If you,
Let's see that squash.
as long as it's done cooking within 20 minutes, you can take extra minutes to plate the dish.
All right, sounds good. Squash is going to be close, though. I thought we'd make it. All right. Pork is looking really great, though. I want to let it rest for a little bit. It's just where I like it to be.
So we're almost at 15 minutes. And Betty now wants to know, what size pork did you get?
This was under a pound. I was with the budget. This was about half pound, just about half pound of the loin. There's a lot of hearty things going on here with the squash, with the Brussels, that it's just the right amount of protein for your meal.
And Kathy is asking, will the food be eaten? Yes, it will. We have
Yeah.
our social media manager, Chase Hill. He should be coming soon. Chase, if you're watching, you're
I'd
behind
be a
me.
little disappointed if it doesn't get...
He's behind me. He's putting on his apron. He's going to be tasting this it looks delicious meal.
Yeah, he said he liked pork, so...
And again, these prices will vary, of course, depending where you live. We're in New York City, and we went to Whole Foods.
That's right. And that's no easy task to get it under 12. We're going to start moving things a little bit over here to start a little plating station. Again, my squash, I don't know if it's going to make it. I
Will
have
the
4
squash
minutes.
make it? That's the question.
It will, but it might be a little al dente. If I'm not getting terminated or anything like that, is there a twist to this?
You're going to get sliced. No,
I'm going to
just
get
kidding.
sliced. If I get sliced, that's a problem.
Katie says, never tried Honeycrisp apples with Brussels sprouts. Definitely going to try this. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. A lot of times people use green apple, but that's because they sweeten their Brussels so much that they're trying to get a little bit of a balance.
Shanna wants to know, maybe you can estimate this. How many calories is this whole meal?
Because I've worked so hard and I'm eating it, it's 0 calories because I'm burning it off right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
But this is a very lean cut of pork. It's actually, this is very low. It's a very good hearty dish. So this pan is now off. I'm letting the pork rest here and just finish cooking. Again, I like it to be on the medium rare side of things. I love pork that way. A lot of people don't eat it like that, but it's what I like. Let's get a little plating action going here.
You have about 3 minutes, so
Do I?
don't rush yourself too much.
No, you have to give yourself time for plating. I don't know about the squash.
Vanessa wants to know, why do you poke the pork?
Why do I poke the pork?
Yeah. Did you poke it?
Just messing with it.
Okay.
So it's really how you check for the temperature of the pork. Once you cook for a long time, you get a feel for it. A lot of people do thermometer and stick it in there, but that's how you do it in a restaurant. You don't have time to analyze every piece of meat. So you do a little poke to feel it. There's ways of looking at it, through your feels like that. It's kind of medium rare. Again, we can talk about that, but I'm trying to get this thing sliced and not be sliced.
Yes.
All right, that pork looks great. Just has to rest. And again, the reason you want to let your meat rest, it's pretty, simple. The juices right now are moving in there because it's a hot piece of meat, so everything's trying to escape. So if you cut it right away, all the juices are released from the meat, and you don't want that. You want it to settle down, let the juices stay inside your meat, because that's how you're going to get a juicy piece of meat.
While it's resting, we can check on our other things.
Yes, which I'm like, come on, man, finish up. It's so close. I need like another minute.
Okay.
No. I think it's going to be very close.
Judy said, I thought pork had to be well done. Is that true?
That's a myth. It's a myth. You want to get it to a certain temp. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be well done. You definitely don't want it raw, but good quality meats. I always find a good butcher, things like that. You definitely can have it pink. I always recommend pork to be pink, especially loin or pork chops. A lot of people might be disagreeing with that, but it's really good. That's when it's at its best form.
So we have 1 minute left.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for this thing, but let's play it. All right.
Chase, do you want to walk up there and you can start smelling the aromas of the food, is what Maria is saying.
Oh, yeah?
She wished she could smell it right now. It smells delicious.
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision,
You might have some raw squash. Is that okay?
That's fine. I think I'm going to focus on the pork.
That's good.
Even though all this looks great, too.
It's a good way of looking at it. But all this goes really well with pork. Again, apples go really well with pork. Brussels go really well. How am I doing? Am I done? Am I over the limit?
So you got 15 seconds.
15 seconds?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go over. I'm going to get sliced.
I don't know. I think it's fine. I think I'll allow it.
You'll allow it?
It
You want
looks
some
so
good stuff?
good.
Yeah,
It's okay.
It looks so good. The pork looks so good that I'll allow it.
All right. Fine. I'm going to dress this up a little bit of this marinade here. Just a little bit.
So you're at 20 minutes, but this looks delicious. We'll let you slide on this slice episode. As long as you come back and cook more for us.
That's fine. Don't butcher me too much at home, people. I tried. I don't want to serve something raw. Most people would understand, I think.
Yeah. Luisa says Thiago is the best.
Well, that's very kind of you. Appreciate it. So we're going to slice this pork now, since we're waiting for our squash, which will be pretty close.
This is my favorite part.
Ooh, that looks delicious.
Slicing the pork. Yeah. My favorite part's usually eating the pork. Not necessarily slicing it. However, it's one step closer to eating it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So this is a great meal for two. Again, under $12, over 20 minutes, but that's okay.
So you did cook everything in 20 minutes, so we'll give it to you.
All right.
It's just the plating that took a little more time, and presentation is key, so we're going to give you some extra time to plate this dish.
Presentation is very key. However, I almost cooked everything. My squash is still missing.
Benny says he might be related to you because he's the same last name. He had to cook and comment. You should get some added minutes.
Oh,
That's true.
good
That's
point.
true.
Very good. I concur. I wish I can have you sample this.
And I think your
you're
mom's
right.
watching. Telma?
Oh, yeah. That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
She says that she loves you and that you're the best.
I love you too, Mom. So I actually like a little bit of the leaves, and it gives you a little bit of a bright color. Again, you can eat it raw. It's totally fine. Gives you a little bit of crunch. Really awesome. A little
Katie
different
says,
texture.
my favorite part is watching everyone eat.
Mine too. I'm already eating, so he's like just waiting.
I can hear the squash. It sounds delicious.
It's really good. Add a little bit more of this marinade.
And what was in the marinade again?
So in the marinade, it was coconut nectar, a little bit of vinegar, which is coconut vinegar as well. Soy sauce, ginger, garlic.
Yummy, yummy,
Good stuff,
yummy.
right? Good stuff. All right. So, just about there. I mean, it looks pretty good. We'll see. It looks like it cooked through, which is awesome. It's a little over, but it'll be worth it in the end, right?
I think so. This looks really good. I'm super excited.
All
It
right.
does look really, really good. I'm jealous that you're the taste tester, Chase.
But ready. Little late. How far out was I? Was I that bad? Was
So
I
we have
really
forks
far
that are
out?
right behind you.
Oh, right there. It's a little silverware over
You're
there.
only
Action.
like 2 minutes over. We'll give it to you.
That's fine.
Because
Like,
of that presentation.
I've been eating. I've been cheating a little bit. That's good.
Can I go? Can I
Go
try?
for it.
Yes, let's do it.
I'm super excited about this pork and the glaze.
And the squash that cooked.
Yeah, I'm gonna squash it. Okay. This is amazing. This pork tastes so good that I feel like a dinner for two is gonna turn into a dinner for one.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna be me.
Are you kicking me out already?
Yeah.
Joanne says everything looks awesome. Vinny says, well, I've never seen squash look so delicious. And I don't think I have either. I'm not a huge squash fan, but that really looks good.
It's a great alternative to potatoes. This one is a lot more starch, has a lot more body than your traditional squash. Again, a lot of people always dress it up with a lot of sweet things. There's plenty of sweetness over here with the apples and the marinade. That should be good, but that pork is super tender and moist, which is great.
You can taste the coconut in the pork also.
Roxy, what are you waiting for?
I'm going to try it after you guys are done. I'm going to eat the leftovers. Chase, do you give this 2 thumbs up?
I give 2 thumbs up, no slicing.